Oh, right. What's going on, everyone? Today we're going to be upgrading the Wondrous Wizardry starter deck. Now, to upgrade this, you need to select it and click the clone button down here, which will add a copy to your decks, which you can change to your liking. This is going to be a 0 rare, 0 mythic build. Of course, if you want to build the best Izzet deck you can, you could probably just look at a metagame. You're probably building VV Cauldron. But for 0 rares, how powerful can we make this thing? Let's talk about it first. Actually, let's click this button here, or if you're in this mode, click this button here and switch to standard. This is going to be a standard upgrade. So this is a spells matters deck. We can do instant sorcery. This cares about instants and sorceries. It gets bigger. This pumps our board when we play them. This gets bigger. This draws cards. This gets cheaper. And then we have this is also prowess, so that counts. This is also, it cares about it, non-creatures. Niv Mizzet also, he just draws actually. But spells, we care about spells. We basically want to chain a bunch of cheap spells like this while making things like this big or pumping our board. Now, my first iteration of this deck, because this is like the third time that I've upgraded these, but I focused on this card in my previous build. The problem is we only have one copy this time in this current iteration, and I just don't think it's as good as working with these things because we already have them kind of. So we're going to be focused more on just playing spells and making big creatures or making this big creature cheaper. That's our plan this time. So let's start by taking out Heartfire Emulator for a Coruscation Mage, or two of them technically. Let me do just a bit of this to give myself some room over here. This is a 2-mana 2/2. This is a 2-mana 2/2. This has prowess, so every time we play a spell, it's going to get +1/+1. That's fine. It's actually not bad. And then we can sacrifice it to turn this into like a removal spell kind of. This on the other hand has Offspring, meaning we can pay 4 for it to get an extra 1/1 copy. And then whenever we cast a non-creature spell, we're going to deal 1 damage to each opponent, 2 damage if we have the Offspring. This is going to be a major factor in our build going forward, because we're going to be playing stuff like Opt, stuff like Chart a Course, to just draw, play a bunch of spells, make this huge, and deal a bunch of direct damage. That's going to be the plan. So I want to take out 2 of these, add 2 of these. I just realized I forgot to talk about a major problem in this deck. It's a major factor you're going to see, which is that we have way too many creatures. This is a spells matters deck. We have 18 creatures and 18 spells. That's not correct. You usually want more spells than creatures. We have so many we have so many creatures. We have all these creatures, and some of them are pretty mid. This is okay for drawing a lot of cards. This is okay in specific decks, not this one. This one's kind of fine. This is super clunky, way too expensive. We want to be way faster than this for sure. So anyway, we're going to be fixing that. But for now, we're going to take out Fiery Annihilation for Broadside. This video is very chaotic and unorganized, I'm sorry. But this is 3 mana, 5 damage to a creature. And if it would die, you exile the creature instead of it going to the graveyard, all of which is just a bunch of text that says deal 5 damage. I have a much better option here, and that is Broadside Barrage, which is the same mana, 3 mana, costs blue and red, but 3 mana, 5 damage to a creature or planeswalker. Does this hit planeswalkers? It does not. So we can hit planeswalkers, and then we draw discard. That's it. That draw discard is way more relevant. We can filter, if we have too many lands, we can draw, discard a land. If we don't have enough lands, we can discard something else to try to find a land, whatever. And if we discard a spell, it's going to make stuff like this bigger and stuff like this cheaper, which again, is a major factor of our deck. I want to take 2 Fiery Annihilation out, 2 Broadside Barrage in, because we want to draw and discard a whole lot with this deck. This next one might be controversial, but I want to take out Ovika for Enigma Drake. Now, this is cool. This is one of those cards when you're new to the game that it just seems so cool, but my god, 7 mana is too much. It just dies. It's hard to target with the ward and stuff, but it's just too expensive. By the time we get to this, we're out of cards. I don't like it very much. So this is our main win condition, 3 mana, It has power equal to the number of instants and sorceries in our graveyard. It really sucks when our opponents exile our graveyards, and there's a lot of that right now because of VV Cauldron and Reanimator and stuff, so that kind of sucks. But I still think this is pretty good, at least in unranked best of one, which is what this is targeting, not using rares and stuff, right? So, I mean, 3 mana, this can easily be like 5, 6, 7 power in the air. It will win games for sure. Take out the Ovika, add one of these. It'll probably have more power on average than the 5/5 flyer or the 6/6 flyer, however big it was. I don't care, it's gone already, and this is what we want to play. Next, we need to start working on adding spells to the deck. And some of the worst creatures in this deck right now, get to Lava Runner, Balmor, this Mischievous Mystic, Drake Hatcher are all kind of mid. Technically, these are pretty clunky as well, to be fair. But these feel more like tempo cards, and we didn't really get enough good tempo stuff to make this really worth it. So I think it's worth cutting some of these creatures just for more spells, especially more interactive ones. So first off, I want to take out 3 get to Lava Runners for one of my favorite cards for this type of deck, which is Glacial Dragon Hunt. This card is, nope, we need 3 of these. This card is super cool in this deck. So it is draw a card, discard a card. We love that. And then if we discard a non-land, we can deal 3 damage. So what this means is, say for example, we have like a Burst Lightning in our hand. We can draw, discard this, and then we get the 3 damage anyway, and we got to draw and discard, and we got both of these in the graveyard for Enigma Drake, right? So it's actually really powerful to discard your burn spells, or even some of your other card draw stuff, like an Opt, for example, to get 3 damage instead, and 2 spells in the graveyard. Plus you got another card out of it either way. So I want to take out 3 of these. I think it's one of the worst creatures in the deck. This creature is really good in like burn decks, right? Where you're, play a burn spell, play a burn spell, play a burn spell, then have a 1 mana 2/2 with haste. Really good in like red aggro or red prowess, stuff like that. But we're more about drawing and discard and going kind of big. So I like this a little bit less in this deck, which is why I want to take out the 4th one. I guess I should bring them over here for an Enigma Drake. This is going to be our main win condition. We're taking out a 1-drop for a 3-drop, but we're taking out a 1-drop that doesn't really do too much in the early game anyway. And I think a 3-drop that just wins the game a lot of times. It's just fine. So we'll take out the last one, go up to our 4 copies of Enigma Drake. Next, we still need to add more spells to the deck. So even though I like this card a lot, and I played it in previous builds, I just want more spells. It's pretty important. So I think it's worth taking this out for another 3-drop. It looks like we're making the deck clunky. Remember that we took out like a 7-drop for this earlier, so it's kind of fine. But this is, it pumps our board if we play a bunch of spells. This needs to go wide. It pairs really well with Drake Hatcher and Mischievous Mystic if we're just putting a bunch of tokens out, but we just didn't get a lot of support for that with this current build. So I think it's worth taking this out and getting one of the better removal spells for our deck, which is blow up most creatures and also draw and discard to fuel our other things. So we'll take one of these out for one of these. I also want to take out 1 Dive Down for 1 Tolarian Terror. So Dive Down is really good if we need to protect a specific creature, and I definitely want to keep the other 2 in. It's pretty good, but we don't have a lot of creatures. We're trying to have a little bit less creatures, and this is more of an aggro or a tempo card where you're playing very critical creatures that you need to survive. We have a few, we want this to survive, we want this to survive, but I don't know if that's enough to have a full 3 copies. I'd rather play 2, still have them, and have our full 4 Tolarian Terrors. Makes a lot of sense to me. I also want to take out the Drake Hatcher, which, man, this is such a good card. It just doesn't do too much in this deck. It has Vigilance, has Prowess. Whenever it deals damage, it gets that many incubation counters, and then you can remove them to make 2/2 Drakes. This is really good in like control decks, tempo control decks, but in my testing, every time I had it, it was just like a 1/3 that didn't feel like it was doing too much. I didn't like it very much, and I want more card draw, and what this deck needs is Stock Up, which is an insane card draw spell. 3 mana, look at the top 5, put 2 of them into your hand. Really good. Kind of dangerous to play on turn 3 against an aggro deck. Don't want to do that. But I still like it better than this Drake Hatcher. And we're still trying to fix this creature and instant sorcery. We're a lot better. And when we do this and add this to the deck, we get to 14 and 22, which feels more like a ratio that I want to be playing. I also think you could probably take these out for either extra stock ups or extra charter courses, or the extra one, of course, or Glacial Dragon Hunt as well. It's really clunky. It is instant speed, so that's nice, but 4 mana draw 3 is fine. I'd rather have 2 mana draw 2 personally, and stock up is really good. You could also play, we can't play it on our budget, but charter course or consult the star charts. It's actually not charter course. Consult the star charts. Also really good. Just it's rare. It's rare. Can't play that one. Anyway, that's gonna be our deck for now. Let's do this. Nope, let's do that. First off, curve is a little bit better. It looked like we were taking out some 2-drops for some 3-drops, but you can see our curve up here. It's still solid. We're still playing a lot of low-cost things. Not to mention we have so much filtering, draw, discard, draw, discard. These draws, they're a little bit expensive. I wouldn't count that, but all of these help fix our draws, help us find stuff, make sure we have lands, make sure we don't have too many lands. So it feels kind of okay. Okay, rares. We have rares. Storm Chaser's talent is really good in this type of deck. 1 mana, it immediately makes a 1/1 with prowess. That pretty much, in my opinion, just instantly makes it better than the Get to Lava Runner, comparing those side by side. I'd rather have this. When you level it up, you can get an instant or sorcery back from your graveyard. And if you pay 6 for it, you get a 1/1 every single time you cast an instant or sorcery. This is a very, very good filter. It's instant speed. For 2 mana, you look at the top X, where X is the number of lands you control. So if you control 5 lands, you look at the top 5, pick a card. If you kick it for an extra 2, you can pick 2 cards. So if you had 4 cards, you could pay 4, look at the top 4, pick 2. But in the late game, if you top deck this with 6 or 7 lands, being able to look at the top 6 or 7 and pick 2 of them is pretty crazy. VV is busted. Will it be banned? Be careful about crafting this. It could be in like a month or 2. 3 mana, 0/3. Whenever you cast a non-creature, so all your spells, you put a +1/+1 counter on it, and you deal a damage. So I prefer this over the Mage. I probably prefer it over the Enigma Drake. This needs stuff in the graveyard, whereas if our graveyard gets hated out, this is fine. You can also 0, add X mana, where X is its power. So the more spells you play, the more mana you can add. It's pretty good. Sphinx of Forgotten Lore is a kind of unknown, unplayed card. 4 mana, 3/3 flying. When it attacks, you can give an instant or sorcery in your graveyard flashback, so you can cast everything from your graveyard again. Do be careful with this and Enigma Drake. It's either or. I don't think you should be playing both, because it does make the Enigma Drake smaller. It also makes the Tolarian Terror more expensive. So you're either playing these two, or you're taking them out for things like VV and Sphinx of Forgotten Lore. We have Ill-Timed Explosion, draw 2, then you can discard 2, and when you do, you can blow up the board. The mana value of the discarded card will deal damage to the board. Will hit your own creatures, of course, but if your board is empty and we don't have a lot of creatures, you can wipe the opponent's board while also filtering through your deck. And Ral is pretty cool. 4 mana, 4 loyalty. Whenever you cast a non-creature, put a loyalty counter on him. He pluses to make otters that have prowess. He minuses to draw 3, discard 2, which is pretty crazy. And -10, you never get to the ultimate, but a pretty good card advantage engine. Playing this, plussing it, immediately going to 5 loyalty and having the otter can be kind of difficult to overcome. And every spell you play, he gets more loyalty, so it's pretty good. All of those are rare. The cards you're going to be thinking about taking out, again, these two are budget, but VV and some of these rares are probably better. Niv-Miz, it's fine. This is really clunky. I'd rather have Consult the Star Charts over this for sure. You could also be cutting into like Mischievous Mystic. Do I want the Mystic or like Storm Chaser's talent? I think I'd rather have Storm Chaser's talent realistically. So all of these are pretty clunky. They're just expensive, right? Expensive, hard to cast, gets kind of clunky if you draw a bunch of these, like in your opener, for example. Tolarian Terror is great, but if your opening hand has like 2 terrors and a Niv-Mizzet and 4 lands, it's just not a functional hand, which can happen, right? But the good news is this deck is really good at smoothing out those awkward hands just by, again, having all of the filtering where you get to dig through your deck and make sure you find stuff on curve and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's it. That is Wondrous Wizardry. Hopefully that's useful. Deck list in the description. You can always adjust the lands too. I didn't mention that. But you could probably add a couple more, could do something like this. Is a bit more appropriate, I think. And you also can add any rare land you have, of course. But that's it. Hopefully that's useful. That is our 0 rare, 0 mythic budget build. Hopefully that's useful. Leave a like if it was. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.